Oh my god.
That is nasty, dude.
Hello and good evening. It is the AFL Armchair Advisors. We are back for round two, continuing on, gentlemen, in our mission to bring you previews of every single game of season 2021 of the Australian Football League. I am Rich of the Armchair Advisors, of course. And sitting next to me is a man who completed literally everything on his bucket list about the age of 4 and since then has just been wasting time waiting to die. It's Sensible Dan.
Yeah, basically, mate. I don't have anything to add to that, really. How you going?
I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, no, I'm annoyed, actually, I tell you. I'm annoyed. I had a head cold over the weekend and I was walking around, just rasping. It sounded like if Stephen Hawking had been a smoker for 20 years. It was terrible. Good. And then I woke up this morning and a mozzie just fucking bit me sorry for swearing, just in the middle of the forehead. You're trying to go to work, you got a mozzie bite on your forehead.
I like how you just get the microphone a bit. Sorry for that, mate.
No, sorry about that. Mate. Sorry, boys. Sorry. And of course, joining us is a man who needs no introduction.
But we'll give
All right, let's
anyway.
talk round one. Oh, no, we'll give him one anyways. It's our global field correspondent, Desmond Van Bus. Now, mate, we need to talk to you about that shameful display that was at the start of the show, that video. What were you doing? What was happening? You can't just neck bottles of full wine and then turn up here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
But the beautiful thing is I can. And I'm going to be honest, boys. All I've been eating all week is cromlets. Ever since the big win, that everyone would know, especially the Cat supporters. Ooh. But I'm not going to lie. We may not get another win for the rest of the year. So, of course, I'm going to be smashing bottles of wine. Of course, I'm going to be getting around the Crows because the Mighty Crom upset the second favourite to win the flag.
You got to take the wins while you get them.
If Geelong win the flag, then guess what? We're the real premiers. Because, as we say in WWE, to beat the man, you got to beat the man. Well, and guess what we did? We beat the man.
And as Homer Simpson said, that would be my favourite 2 words in the English language: default.
I mean, I've heard some rubbish. Every time I reckon you set the bar as low as you can go, you limbo under it with metres to clear. No, it is a pleasure having you on the show. I'm astounded that you haven't died from that hangover because that wasn't the only thing you did that weekend. You clearly haven't slept or showered since, but I admire the commitment to the cause.
Hey, I get that shovel and I'll just keep digging the hole deeper.
All right, chaps, let's roar into it. Round 2, Thursday night footy, get around it. It is the Carlton Blues versus the Collingwood Magpies at the MCG. Fellas, Sensible Dan, kick this one off for us, mate. What can we look forward to?
Easy. I think we can look forward to a good contest. I really liked what Carlton brought to the table last week. They really took it to Richmond for 3 and a bit quarters, and they looked like a different Blues team than we're used to. And I'll be very interested to see how Zachy Williams coming back into the fold now helps to improve the balance a little bit. Pies, on the other hand, didn't look so good. I think that scoreline probably flattered them a little bit, to tell the truth. Their midfielders never really got going outside Pendlebury, which is...
Adams looked scratchy as heck, didn't he?
That's what happens when you don't have a pre-season. Grundy, where Ruck's going to fit in this new role, he didn't look at his best either. And interestingly enough, I saw a stat today. Now, both of these teams took L's round 1.
They did.
Now, since 2010, there's been 58 teams, to go 0-2, and only at 5 made finals.
5 out of 58?
Yep.
That's interesting.
So essentially, if you go 0-2,
you're not making finals.
It's curtains.
Wow.
So one of these teams is going to be staring down the barrel of a seriously disappointing season.
That's very interesting. I did not expect that to be the number.
I mean, you want to sit there and laugh at a stat like that. Like, well, come on. Let's say you lose 2. Mm-hmm. You've got 21 games 20 games left in order to make up for it. But statistics don't lie. Like, the stats are the stats.
No. Yeah. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't.
5 out of 58, argue it.
Yeah, jeez.
That's unbelievable.
So, really, even though it's round 2, there's actually quite a lot at stake here.
That's like, I'm
going to be tipping the baggers to get up here.
Yeah, well,
just based on what I saw in round 1, I much preferred what I saw out of the Blues than I did the Pies.
And that is why it is the
Jesus.
double Des dog early. It's not the sun. It's just my beautiful smile. The double Des dog. The Baggers are going to get up this week. They played so much better than the Pies. Like, of course, Carlton were going to lose. I'm going to hold this one right here. Of course, Carlton. Of course, they're going to lose to Richmond. Oh, we've cut off. But because Richmond are going to win potentially. Well, they're going to be in the grand final this year. I think they're going to win the flag. It's round 2. I'm happy to call that, especially after Geelong's loss to the mighty Crom.
Jeez.
No, but Collingwood have done nothing in that game against the Bulldogs to show me that they're, especially with Zachy Williams coming in, they've got nothing to stop Carlton. Like, Carlton are going to roll them. And at $2, far out. The Des dog.
Because Carlton playing, they're paying $2 to win it.
$2, yeah. $2 to $1.81. Like, they're going to be real crisp in that midfield. And they played really well against Richmond. The last kind of 5 minutes, they let it get away. But Richmond are going to do that to you.
You do sort of expect a bit of a bounce back from the Pies, but I really didn't like what I saw from them. They just looked totally
Where are they
disjointed.
going to bounce back? That's the thing.
And all this talk about De Goey playing in the midfield, it didn't even eventuate. It looked like Buckley was too scared to throw him in the mix.
But equally, it looked like De Goey didn't know where he was meant to be either. He went forward and kicked, 3 points?
Yeah.
He had 16 touches in the midfield. He got a bob each way, and neither one's paid off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why the Baggers going to get up. What do you reckon, Rich?
Look, Baggers, we have our first consensual consensus on the pod, on the show and the pod. Of course, we do have the podcast. If you are listening on the podcast, jump on over to the Facebook page. Check this out because we are doing it live action nowadays. But yeah, look, Blues 1-39. I mean, we all saw how they rocked up against the reigning premiers, and they took it right up to them for 3.5 quarters. And we were saying that night, like, if the Blues play like this every week, they'll play finals. And that's always 100%. Been their problem. Consistency, mentally being switched on and finishing games off. Not having these stupid lapses where they drop 5 goals and, what did we, we lost. Sorry, Tiki. Yeah. If they can cut that nonsense out, they're playing finals. Yep. And Collingwood they're not your grandfather's Collingwood anymore. You know what I mean? They are... They are playing, certainly on round 1. And look, round 1, teams come in scratchy. It's understandable. It does happen. Yep. One game doesn't make a trend. But round 1, they came in looking like a team that has had the worst off-season a team has ever had. Yep. They looked under siege from the get-go. And I can't knock against the Blues in this one. 1-39 for mine.
And I think Sard looked great in that debut.
He did,
I take back my comments of... or if anyone has listened to that preview, I bagged out the kind of Sard and said the draft was broken, but that's exactly what Carlton needed. Yep. So obviously the list manager knows a lot more than what I'm thinking.
The new game style just plays perfectly to someone like him, someone who loves to get on the hoof and take a few bounces. The standing on the mark dead still for him. That's just play money. Play money.
Later. Yep. Thanks for coming. Yep. Beautiful.
Gentlemen, let's talk bets. I'm assuming we've had a little look-see at the market, see what's doing. I'll just, now you know me, I like a multi. I bloody love a same game. Sorry for swearing again, that's twice. I love a same game multi. Love us a little same game multi. And just to get things started for your Thursday night, I've just got a little 4-legger, all right? I'm thinking Walsh, 25 touches. He looked after me last week. Let's go again.
Unreal as well. Unreal.
He's looking like a different bloke.
I love it.
He's evolved. He's gone from Charmeleon to Charizard. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But Walsh, 25 touches. I like Braden Maynard for 20. Sire's not doing anything. Maynard seems to be stepping up. That's going to keep happening. So Maynard, 20. Jimmy Elliott for a goal, and big Mason Cox to get a goal as well. That's my 4, and that's paying about $4.30 in the vicinity of with your boost. Different markets will have different prices. Yep. Act like the Meerkats and compare the pair. Is that the... No, wait, there's 2 different things.
No, it's compare.
Yeah.
Is that,
no. Compare the market.
Compare the pairs SGIC.
Yeah, you're thinking compare the market, mate.
I'm thinking compare... So, look.
Much of a much.
Superannuation. Get around it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So that's my bets. Boys, what do you think?
Big stonks. Look, I didn't really have a lot outside of that. I like what you've put on the table. Sam Walsh, I was going to go 30 plus. To be honest with you, I think Zachy Williams coming in is going to free him up even more, which is seriously dangerous. And he's actually had 31 disposals in the last 2 Carlton games. So going 30 plus again doesn't seem to be a tall task for him.
I had a look at Jackie Noons. Jackie Noons 20 plus. It actually went down, but he got 27 touches. Not going to lie, it was like $1.70 today for him to get 20. I looked today, it went down to like $1.40 or something, so I don't know if it's like playable because he can be up and down. But at $1.72, if you got him at $1.72 for 20 plus, like that is very nice because he got 27 touches, was running rings around whoever was on the wing for Richmond. See, that's the thing. I know the whole Richmond team. And if you play well enough for me not to know who you're on, means you're playing a good game.
Well, hey, look, nice little multi-builder perhaps.
Yeah.
Jackie Noons, 20 plus, $1.40. As a great man once said, yibbity yibbida. Gents, I'm thinking Friday night footy right now. Now, this is an interesting one. Let's go back to that stat that you mentioned regarding 5 teams out of 58 over the last, 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And the teams that have, only 5 that have gone 0-2 to start a season have managed to make finals.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good for one of these two sides on Friday night footy when the Geelong Cats will be taking on the Brisbane Lions down at Gumhibba Stadium down in Geelong. Get excited.
Never heard that pronounced more fluidly, mate.
Gumhibba? That's
very nice.
Gumhibba?
Music to my ears.
Gumhibba Stadium. Gumhibba Stadium. Get excited. Where the Geelong Carts play.
Say it.
Gamubba.
That'll do. Des, what do you like in this game, mate? What should we be looking out for? Who's taking home the chocolates?
This is tough because they're really the 2 underperforming teams of the round because, 2 of the premiership favourites have absolutely shot the bed big time. I'm just going to go Geelong 1-39 purely because they had a bit of fight back, and it's just hard to judge. But I got Geelong 1-39. That's paying $2.25. Purely because of the home factor.
Oh, of course, yeah.
1-39. Purely the home factor.
Yep.
Because you can't lose to Sydney by how much was it? 40-something points, 50 points, whatever it was.
No bueno.
No.
You can't do it.
No.
Just to Sydney. Geelong at least had a fight back. Yeah, at home as well. They come to Adelaide. Or Geelong come to Adelaide, and that last quarter, I was sweating in my I was sweating in this exact shirt. It hasn't been washed for 5 days. Catters are going to fire up and come back, I think. Poor Brisbane too, because I like Brisbane, but Cats 1-39.
I'm only tipping the Cats purely because of the home ground advantage. If it was at the Gabba, I'd be tipping Brisbane. But it's interesting though, because obviously now with Dangerfield getting suspended for the next 3 weeks, Geelong's really been kicked in the dick pretty hard the last 48 hours. Menegola out as well.
Yeah,
well, 50-50. They ruled out Mitch Duncan today as well.
Shaggy.
I don't think Menegola will play. 50-50. What's the point?
No, I wouldn't. Unless Chris Scott saw that stat before and things like shit. Yeah. But it's really tough to predict. It really is because you would think now the tide's already turning on Geelong a little bit. Could come a little bit down in the mouth, but like I said, at home you tip them 99 times out of 100. So I'll stick with Geelong.
Look, you're bang on for mine. I'm thinking, when's the last time Brisbane played in Geelong? 2019? Maybe?
I don't know. I can tell you that Geelong's won their last 11 against Brisbane at Gumhibba Stadium.
Yeah, that's a tough stat.
Gumhibba is a fortress. We understand this. And look, it is that home factor that's making me think. Cats here. 1-39, as you said, very astutely, there was a fight back at Adelaide Oval from the Catters. Whereas Brisbane, for mine, looked equal parts disinterested to fight back and arrogant. They were stunned that they had it served up to them and they got, say, 5 goals down and thought, we'll forget it. Bit hard for me. Long season, boys, bit hard for me.
I was exceptionally disappointed in Lachie Neale.
Yeah.
You'd think after coming off a Brownlow, you would want to get up and about. And he just, like you said, disinterested. Looked like he couldn't be asked.
No, I've got a stat for you. I'm going to fire some questions at Des. Now, Des, in round 1 of last year, how many tackles did Lachie Neale have?
Have a
guess.
I'd say... I'll give me 7.
Add 3 to that. He had 10. Oh. Had 10. How many did he have round 1 this year?
3.
Subtract 3 from that score.
Oh.
There you go. And that is the barometer right there.
Quick maths right there. And that's nasty math.
No fire in the belly.
No fire in the belly. So I'm thinking Geelong, they bounce back. They're at home. Brisbane haven't played in Geelong for a long period of time, and I think Geelong are going to be a little bit more angry and agitated and want to get some work done here. That's what I'm looking for.
Just quickly, if that does eventuate and Brisbane go 0-2, based on the statistic, would you just about count them out of finals?
No.
They'll fire up and come back. Their coaches, buddy. He's too good, mate.
We love him.
And because
he is too good.
Because as my girl Ellie Goulding once famously said, anything can happen.
It can.
Anything can happen.
They'll be pushing it up.
Oh, mate, in a leaky wheelbarrow. But no, they'll respond. Now, in terms of bets, let's have a little look-see. I didn't like a ton in this game, actually. There was...
it's hard.
I went through the same game multi-options. I didn't like a lot of what I saw. But I saw a few things that made me just sort of sit just a little straighter in the chair. Zorko, 1 goal, at least. Anytime goal scorer, Dane Zorko, done. He's floating forward a lot more. They don't need him in the mid like they used to. He had one last week. He had one in the trial game. He's had one pretty much every game for the back half.
You can always back him in as well.
I think so. Yeah, not playing at his home deck, but I still think he's a good enough performer. Put him forward and he'll find a way to jag one.
Yep.
Tommy Stewart, 20-plus touches. That goes without saying. That's just easy at this point.
Yep.
He'll do that. And Daniel Rich, 20-plus as well. One of Brisbane's main ball getters on the weekend. Again, very similar to Tommy Stewart in that loves picking up a touch that you don't seem to realise. You look at the sheet and he's actually got 12 touches. When did that happen? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all kicks.
And
he
all kicks.
hates the handballs.
No,
so any of you fantasy players out there with the kick stats up a little bit, watch out.
Hey, he's listened to O'Brien Strawn. Remember when he told the young kids, never handball.
Yeah.
That's it.
Never handball.
No,
Jam it on the boot.
I live by that.
What gets you more territory?
Exactly. It's all about meterage. So look, Zorko, 1 goal. Tommy Stewart, 20-plus. Daniel Rich, 20-plus. That's paying about $3.30, somewhere in that vicinity. I'm also liking Brandon Parfitt, 20-plus touches, is paying $2.60 at the moment. Just as a little aside, he was very close to that. You think he better had about 19 against the Crows. And if Danger's out, if Menegola's out, if Duncan's not back, who's going in the middle?
Yeah, it's going to have to be Parfitt, and that was one of my points I was going to make as well. Someone's going to have to pick up the slack, and I think Parfitt will be it. I'd also like to throw in Isaac Smith into the anytime goal scorer as well. I would say personally he was probably the Cats' best on the weekend.
Led the revival.
Just ran hard all day, and did jag a goal towards the end. I think on the confines of Gamubba, I think he'll thrive.
I agree. I was gonna mention Parfitt, aka Exhibit, even though that was 1 year ago. But no, he actually played quite a good game.
He did,
and so did Geordie Clark as well. Shout out to Clark. I think he played big number 6. It's a number change, I think. But no, he played really well as well.
I think every single fantasy player around the country would beg to differ.
That's why I'm sipping my TV over here right now.
I thought he did, because when you think about it...
He didn't have a bad game, but statistics-wise...
He didn't have the game that we were hoping he would have.
Yes.
I feel like you hold him in higher regard than I did going into the game.
We are a professional unit here. Do you know what I mean? We are a professional unit. We expect results.
Exactly right.
Yeah, well, I like the mullet, and I thought he ran hard. So.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, let us move on. Let's have a look at the first Saturday game. Now, we just talked about the losers. What about the winners? What about the two that just got up on the weekend over these two premiership contenders? At the SCG, fellas, we have got the Sydney Swans taking on the Adelaide Crows. Now, fellas, the big talking point of this story is, Buddy's back. Buddy's back. Everyone, look, it's Buddy. He's back. Can he get to 1,000 goals this year? No. He's not kicking 1,000.
How many has he got to kick? How many got to kick to get to 1,000?
About 56, I believe.
Too
I reckon if you told me if he could get to 1,000 and he's on 997, I'd still go, that's not against the Crom, he's not.
No.
The mighty Crom.
Not against Jordan Butts, mate.
Well, boom. What did Jordan Butts do to Tom Hawkins? We don't know. The excavators at Adelaide Oval are still digging around in the forward line trying to pull Tommy H out.
He turned him into a fossil.
He did.
There you go.
Yeah, he did.
There you go. Dora the Explorer couldn't even find him.
Yeah. Neolithic Hawkins. That's what they're calling him now.
Neolithic.
No, in all seriousness, Buddy's back. Yeah, good. That's what the media machine's going to tell you. Fabulous. Great. He's going to play 2 quarters and ping a hammy. If history tells us anything, that's what's going to happen. Get more excited if you're a Sydney fan to see Callum Mills in the middle. And that's why Jakey Lloyd being back in that back line and fit and firing is so important to that Swans side. It allows Mills to move up and play the game he was built to play in the middle. If Lloyd stays fit, boy, oh boy, Mills is going to be one hell of a midfielder this year.
Yep.
So get keen for that. Also get keen to see the young blokes who are this middle class, the bourgeoisie of Sydney, are now starting to sort of pick up the slack a little bit. Rowbottom had a good game.
He did.
Errol Golden.
Yep.
Errol Golden.
Errol Golden
Absolute jet.
is the Des Rookie of the Year already.
After round one.
The D Roy. No, it doesn't matter because if you call Errol...
In fairness, there is an actual chance there won't be a better rookie performance throughout this whole season.
I'm very
Rao's
biased.
dead, so now Rao's not going to be able to get the... Will Rao be eligible for the Rising Star next year?
I think it's only your first 2 seasons, isn't it?
Well,
So
there you go.
That's sad.
It's golden season.
Beautiful. And it doesn't matter because you know what? He might not play for the rest of the year. He's the lethal Latham Vandermeer of 2021. All right, Errol Spence Golden.
Why Spence?
Because he's a great boxer and I love watching him. It's all that matters. As long as it's funny to me, I don't mind.
Well, that therein sums it up. But no. I want to keep this on track, fellas. I want to keep this on track. As I said, Mills in the middle. It looks inspired. He's bloody important. Young emerging leader, potential future captain. Potentially. Keep an eye on it. But what I genuinely want to know, because the Crows ran that hard against Geelong, and as you said to me on the weekend, it's like someone finally showed them some game footage of Richmond and be like, what do you think about this, boys? Can we do a bit of this? Oh yeah, I reckon we can, hey? That's James Rowe. He's got the that's actually it's Matty Nix.
I was going to say that'd be all, mate, yeah.
Sorry, really? Sorry, Nixie.
You know Matty Rowe talks like this, mate.
Yes, he does.
Straight off the building site.
Yes, he does.
You know he does.
But I want to know which side fluked it, okay? Because one of these teams fluked it. I would love to see two teams go hammer and tong and replicate that over 4 quarters. I don't. My spidey senses tell me one of these two teams fluked it. And my suspicion was that it was probably the Crows. I'll be very interested to see. So that's why I'm tipping the Swans 1-39. It's at their home deck. The buddy factor, they're going to have people back in the stadium. The noise of positive affirmation or whatever they call it, that rubbish will be in effect. And plus the Crows backline taking more hits. Kelly's out. Luke Brown is now out for the weekend as well.
Yep.
Enter a first gamer and Nick Murray is my prediction.
Yep.
Jordan Butts has played 5 games, if that.
About.
Big task for the back line. Sydney's getting it done here, no question about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Unfortunately, because obviously I was getting around the Crom, and if Crom surprised me like they did last week, I'll be more than happy, and there'll be more bottles of wine that are in danger. But Sydney, when you think, I look at it and go, Geelong and Brisbane are kind of similar in calibre. And Sydney went over to Brisbane in the Gabba. I predicted Brisbane to go undefeated at the Gabba all year. They
smacked the little
absolutely shot on that. They killed them, and they played good footy too. I'm not saying Crows didn't play good footy either, but Sydney played good footy, and I think they're just gonna run over the Crows a little bit. I can see Crows putting up a bit of a fight, and it comes to my lock of the week, Jimmy Rowe, anytime goal, $1.55.
Oh,
It's delicious.
Anytime goal, because I rate him, and I'm a North Adelaide supporter, and so for me to say that after he absolutely spanked us in the SANFL Grand Final last year, like he played real well. I'm glad they picked him up. But anytime goal, $1.55, and Sydney 1-39. It hurts me to say it because I do have the Crom Guernsey on. Prove me wrong, Crom. You proved me wrong last week. Prove me wrong again.
He's a little jet, Jimmy. He's got a lot of stuff about him. I don't know. I'm really on the fence with this. I'm just going to give the edge to Sydney 1-39. As you said, buddy factor. That'll get him up and about. Even if it's not him performing, it will get him. It will get the rest of the
talisman.
Get the rest of the boys up and about. What I'd really like to see in this game though is Riley O'Brien lift. He had a mare on the weekend, got towed up by Stanley. For mine, I think he did anyway. And
Tom Hickey didn't though.
Yeah, no.
Best game of his life, Tom Hickey.
Absolutely.
He was unreal. He stood out. That's a first.
He did. So,
besides for his looks.
So Rob actually genuinely needs to lift this week and get back to the lofty standards he'd set
And I think
himself.
he will. I don't think that... I'm not too worried about Rob because he always... If he's having a bad game... He always seems to fire up, and we saw that last year when we were 0-14. He was always our consistent performer. So Ben Keys played unreal for Adelaide as well. I'm giving little shout outs.
Everyone did, mate. Everyone.
Benny Keys
played well, is what it says.
Benny
in the back
Keys.
of the paper.
If you told me last year that Ben Keys had been my favourite Adelaide player, if you told me last year Ben Keys had been my top 3 Adelaide players, it's hard to pick.
Well, if Sam Walsh,
I'd smack myself.
If Sam Walsh is now Charizard, Ben Keys is definitely a Pidgeotto.
He is.
No, he's more like a Piplup because he's like a penguin. He's turned into like a, what do you call that?
No,
like
we're OG Pokemon.
He's penguin. No, because he looks like Emperor Penguin, mate. That's why.
He's got the slick back. He
no
looks
one
like
likes the
Pidgeotto.
new breed. Everyone hates them.
Get out. Where's the door?
I'm not a fan.
Out.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to relate him to the penguin because I obviously call him Big Z. We all know that.
We are
Surfs up, boys.
The wine has gone to his head. The man's melting down. Do you have any bets for a sensible Dan?
Jimmy Roy, anytime goal scorer sounds really good, mate.
Yeah. That's my lock of the week. He's kicking a goal. And if he doesn't kick a goal, he's kicking 6 points. That equates to a goal.
In one leg. Sure. All right. Little multi. Let's move on. Little multi. Jimmy Rowe to kick a goal. Is what I had.
Beautiful.
Hey, look, come on. Jimmy Rowe to kick a goal. Brodie Smith, 20 plus touches. Mills, 25. Jake Lloyd, 25. Put those 4 together, that's paying about $4.80 at the moment.
I'd also chuck Lockie Show in for 20 plus. They absolutely love going to him on a wing. He's got an elite kick by foot, so 20 plus for Lockie Show as well.
I think Errol Golden's paying about $1.35. I know, obviously, I'm
For a goal.
For a
Yeah,
goal.
wow.
Yeah, for a goal. It's I don't know how many touches he got, but yeah, anytime goal. I know he kicked 3 last week, and I do jump on the hype trains fairly early, but I'm also quick to jump off of them.
He's the
when
next
they start burning.
Ben Ronk. Let's move on. There's disrespect. We need to move on here, boys. We are looking real flabby. Let's tighten it up. Let's look at the second Saturday game here. At the Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide Power versus the Essendon Bombers.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, I'm going to leap straight out with this one. Can I just open this one up like a tin of beans?
I feel like I may agree with you.
I dare say we're all going to agree with each other right now. Power decimated the Roos. It was a Roo culling, all right? It was a massacre. A massacre at Marvel. The same thing's going to happen again. Correct. You cannot be a team in the Bombers who's 40 points up against a similarly battling, rebuilding kind of side, admittedly one that's got Clarko at the helm, but he's not playing on the field. You can't be 40 points up and then, to use one of your expressions, shart the bed.
Big time. That's a big
on
shot.
lose.
That's a shot on everyone in the bed.
You do that at home against the side down here.
Yep.
What's going to happen when you're playing away against arguably the best team in the competition at the minute? It's going to be a massacre. 40 points plus Port Adelaide Power. Count on it. Count on it. Count on it.
And that's 210. I'd be very interested to see what, they have a 60 plus market and like a super margin. I'd be very interested to see 60 plus. I don't know what you think, but to be honest, I backed in Bombers as they were the Des Dog of the week last week. And I thought I was home and hosed. I turned on the Brisbane-Sydney game, started enjoying that one, enjoying Sydney's Renaissance performance. But yeah, I was like, what happened to the Bombers? When I was watching Hawthorn come back, I was like, what? That's all. I can't even put words to it.
Yep.
It's a classic rebuilding team performance. Do
Horrible.
really well for a bit and then die.
Horrible, because
they've got so many kids in the team at the moment. They got no legs. It looked very reminiscent of what happened to the Crows last year. The kids are just not. They're fit, obviously, but they're not
match fit.
They're not AFL fit.
Yeah.
Guys like Nick Cox couldn't get involved at all. And you're leaving too much on the plate of guys like Zachy Merritt and Dylan Shield. They just, you can't drag an entire team over the line by yourself. As you said, I think it's going to be reasonably one-way traffic. The line is currently set at 33.5, which is my lock of the week.
Oh my days.
Port 33.5, easy money.
Easy.
After what happened last week, I've got no faith in the Bombers to give Port much of a contest. I think they might be in it for a little bit, but overall, Port's just going to be way too strong.
It's the Portress.
I don't even think they'll be in at all.
It's the
I don't
Portress.
think it will be at all.
We all said that about the Roos, and the Roos had a ripping first quarter. But I think what worries me a bit for this game is not the actual game, like the result itself. For the Power, they are yet to have, in the last month, 5 weeks of preparations, a decent hit out against the similarly weighted side. Now, if Essendon do roll over and play doggo, as we expect that they will, I don't know who Port's got next week off the top of my head, but if it's anyone who's got even slightly aspiring to be playing finals, they could seriously give them a push if Port aren't expecting it.
Might be Adelaide.
Oh, no, that's round 8, I
that's
think.
later.
But look, Fantasia, holy moly, he's automatically leapt in and filled that second tall spot, even though he's about 170 centimetres or something dumb like that. The man was a jet. And if he does start to now take away the second key defender or that second lockdown defender, that allows blokes like Marshall and Laddams to start stepping up and start developing and not having to worry about it. He's an absolute boon. I think, look, Port, Essendon look good. Nick Cox, 200 centimetres playing as a midfielder. When he widens out a bit, that's a cheat code.
Like I said,
Dude's a human Grand Theft Auto cheat code.
As I said, he just couldn't get involved though. Like he just early on did a little bit, ran out of legs as the game wore on. But Port, just embarrassment of riches. Like, what is Tom Rockcliffe doing as a medical sub?
That's mad, that.
Any other team in the league, first choice midfielder, and they're a medical sub.
That hurts me. That does hurt me.
Unbelievable.
How's the lip on it? Saving him for the big dance. They're saving him for later on.
Why
That's
not?
what that is.
But imagine having the depth to do that.
That's
crazy.
Unreal. Dangerous stuff. Now, bets wise, I went a little bit silly here. You know what I mean? I just saw legs that I liked and I just kept adding it to it. So I've got a bit of a centipede here for you fellas.
Good.
Beautiful. I love that.
I'm liking Big Dyson Heppel in that new role on the halfback. 20 plus touches.
Yep.
Andy McGrath, 25 touches. Wines, 25 touches. Boak, how good was he? 25 touches. Dev Smith, 1 goal. Butters, 1 goal. Cale Hooker, 1 goal. Fantasia, 2+ goals, is paying $21 in the vicinity of.
And the beautiful thing about that, how many fingers have you got up?
I'm running
8.
out here.
8.
I'm running. Yeah.
So if 3 of them go down on Sportsbet, you'll get your money back.
We don't.
So all you got to do is
if you
win
use
5.
Sportsbet, we're not advocating one over the other. We're just saying. I see what you're saying.
No, I feel like
I
that.
see what you're saying.
I'd rather instead of losing my money, I'd rather get it back in bonus bets if it is to go down.
Absolutely.
So
And I also like the over here, 177.5. I feel like Port's going to be kicking 120, 130 probably.
whatever they want, really.
If the Bombers turn up and kick a score, it'll get there.
Mind you, they had 90 points. That's not bad.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Fellas, are we moving on?
We are.
Oh, crap. No, we're 4 games in here.
Oh, no. I just realised what time it is.
It's time, baby. It is time. The new iPhone is out. That means it's time for a scramble. So last week, in this 60-second scramble, I went well overboard with 8 questions. So this time I've narrowed it down to 6. The sensational 6. How are we feeling?
Terrible.
Just do it.
All right,
Just do it. I hate it. I hate it so bad.
Time starts now. I'm going with Dan. Who is the most ticklish player on the injury list of the whole AFL?
On the injury list,
Of the AFL.
Matt Rao.
Likes a bit of a tickle?
He does, yeah, he would do. 100%.
All right, Rich. Which Bulldogs midfielder wishes they could ride a unicycle?
Well,
Libber, surely.
no, Libber can ride a unicycle.
Okay.
Libber can ride a unicycle. I'm telling you. Libber can ride a unicycle. Probably Toby McLean, but he wishes he could do anything right about now. Nah, that's harsh. That's harsh. Well, I can make that joke. Oh, I've had an ACL, so I can make that joke. Midfielder, that McRae. Doesn't you can imagine that?
He
Look,
just want to.
as he's trying. Yeah, McRae, go.
All right, serious question. Who shot the bed more, Dan, Geelong or Brisbane?
Shart the bed. Probably Brisbane.
Fair shout. All right, Rich. Which Freo player has an allergy to dragonflies?
Sam Switkowski.
Sounds like he's got a dragonfly last name. All right, serious question now, Dan. Which Crom player celebrated the big win by smashing down some assorted biscuits and Audi salmon?
Absolutely, Jimmy Rowe.
Oh, not Shauners?
Nah, Shauners was way dirtier than that, mate. Straight to Carl's Jr.
He likes his Audi salmon. All right, final question, Rich. Does Matt Rao have a Nintendo Switch, and why does he like playing Cooking Mama?
Like, what is it like playing what?
Cooking Mama.
Is that a game, is it?
Yeah, you play Cooking Mama teaches you how to cook stuff.
Why does he like it? Well, look at it. He's wearing the McDonald's headset, taking the orders. Do you know what I mean?
Have you never seen what Cooking Mama is?
I'm busy. No, I'm
We're
busy.
not 12.
I'm busy working a job and providing something to society. You muppet.
I'm going to teach you some Cooking Mama.
You're not going to teach me a damn thing.
I'll have to whip the DS out, and we'll have to play some Cooking Mama.
Is that code for something? The DS? No, I'm messing. No, mess. Desmond Van Bus, you never let us down when it comes to a 60-second scramble.
Feel relieved.
That's you know what the best part of right now is? This is the absolute longest time
Until the next scramble.
Until the next scramble.
Yep.
Think on that.
7 full days.
Think on that.
Oh, I'm sweaty.
All right, game 5 of round 2, the third Saturday night game at Marvel Stadium. We're looking at the St Kilda Saints versus the Melbourne Demons. Sensible Dan, talk to me.
I was pleasantly surprised by the Saints, even with all their injuries. They went away from home in wet weather footy, which is notoriously hard to do, and played really well. Got a win. D's, I wasn't as impressed by them. They were playing against a very, very, very undermanned Fremantle side who also had 2 injuries during the game. They got the win. Good on them. You can only win who's put in front of you, but still got to be a little bit more impressed as of yet. In saying that, though, Tom McDonald had a great game. Looked to be back to his 2017 form again, which the D's really need because they've got no other tall forwards up there at the moment. Luke Jackson copped a knock during the game and sort of went off the boil after that. And Maxi Gawn said at half-time, I've got to find a role. That's not good. That's really not good.
How can your captain say I need to find a role?
How can you run?
Not only that. How can you go into a game not knowing what your role is? What is that like?
Is he the Trent from Punchy of Melbourne?
Basically,
I don't know. I just kind of rocked up here.
I mean, we do know Big Max. He's a bit like that. But that to me, that's red flags. I don't like that at all. I'm going to be tipping the Saints 1-39 here. I think they're going to get the job done again.
What do you like
Well,
here?
I like the Saints going into the Giants game, and I was a bit nervous. I thought the Giants were going to roll them. I thought the wet weather might hurt them, but no, they pleasantly surprised me. They surprised me, and that's why I've got to back me against the D's, because really, you look at, they beat that Freo, that Freo side. They just didn't play like Freo of last year, obviously because they've got the injuries and whatnot, but if they beat the Freo of last year, if they did a Carlton Jackie Noons performance, I'd be backing in the D's this week. But they just didn't. They just weren't up against the best competition. And
you can see, and they were talking about it on the broadcast as well, like their entries into 50, you could tell Alex Pearce has got no idea how to lead to a footy, and they just haven't got it at the moment. There's too many injuries to overcome. Some teams can bumble their way through. I think Freo's in serious trouble this season.
If you can't score, you can't win.
And the thing with Melbourne as well, like we kind of said at the start of the season, you just don't know whether they're going to be good. You don't know whether they're going to be bad, and that is not a good place to be because, well, more than likely going to be pretty bad. So that's why Saints 1-39, and I'd like to see the Saints win too. I like the Saints. I like the footy they play. I'm glad they won last week.
They've got a bit about them.
I do.
And Jack Sinclair's got a great mullet, as does Dan Butler. So
respect.
They're my team.
Respect that.
Here he is. No, look, if you can grind out wins at this stage of the season when you're 4 or 5 or 6 of your first choice players, they're not available, and you're still able to crank out wins, boy, oh boy, that's going to set you up so well for the later on in the season when you get fresh legs come back in the door. That's going to make a difference. Now, look, I'm liking the Saints here, to be honest with you. They impressed me against the Giants. Admittedly, that wet weather footy, and I know it wasn't saturated, but wet weather footy sort of brings everything back down to the one level. It doesn't allow for that flashiness so much. And the team that worked harder ended up with the points. Admittedly, the Giants got done with a bit of bad luck, but you can't account for that. Hard work will beat good or bad luck every single day. And the Saints got up. I expect them to get up here. I'm tipping them 1-39 points. I'm looking forward to the battle of the midfield bulls here, fellas.
Yeah.
Track v Steel. That ought to be very, very good. You said about Gawn. I did notice this too. Now, is he potentially going to spend time up forward? Does Luke Jackson go into the ruck? Makes it tough for Paul Hunter, but at least he knows what his role is. You know, this is a very interesting setup that we're now going to start seeing.
At least he knows what his role is that Max Gawn seems to not know. I find that so interesting. He's the one man that should know, what his role is.
If your captain doesn't know what he's doing when he's out there, that's a genuine concern. But that midfield mix will still be a bit up in the air for St Kilda. They're going to do a bit of tinkering. Crouch yet to come back as well. So that team's just going to get better. In terms of a multi, I've gone back to the well on this one. I'm just going with what I know and what I trust. I'm liking Petrarca anytime goal. It always happens. There's 3 things that are certain in life. I don't have to tell you what the first 2 are. The third one's a track goal. Oliver, 30 plus touches. He had about 35, 36 on the weekend. He'll repeat that back home. Still at home rather, because they played in Melbourne. Hunter Clark. 20 plus touches, really coming into his own on that halfback flank, and I expect he's just going to keep going about his merry way.
Just interestingly on him, every time I watch him, no one can run him down, but he's one of the slowest looking runners you've ever seen in your life. He prances along the turf, but you just watch him and you think, I could run him down easily. And then you see guys running full pelt after him. No hope.
It's the inverse of Jack Stephen, who used to take steps like Stewie Griffin. That was how he used to run, whereas Clark's the opposite.
Mesmerising.
It's brilliant. Clark 20 plus, as I said. So track goal, Oliver 30 plus, Clark 20 plus, Jack Higgins goal. Smack that together, $4.50. Thank your mother for the rabbits.
I also like Cozzy Pickett to kick one in this one. $1.72.
Yoink.
As a small forward, I think that he's just as likely as anyone to get on the score sheet.
He's a real talent too. He's a goal sneak.
Yep. He's just got that X factor about him, and he was giving it a bit last week. They were mentioning Byron on the broadcast. Byron is steamroll him, but I like the fact that he gets stuck in and gives it a crack anyway.
Absolutely. He's working to the letter of the law, and we always appreciate that. Let's move on. The 4th game for Saturday, the late game, the evening game, is at Metricon Stadium between the Gold Coast Suns and the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Now, fellas, can I just leap into this one by just saying North? Yuck. Yuck. Like, they're going to battle. No Cunnington still. Where's that midfield sort of grunt? I like what I saw from blokes like Simpkin, who stepped up. LDU had a great game, and it's now time that he starts delivering on that promise that everyone's been sat around waiting for LDU. Like, where is he?
12 touches in a quarter of footy. Like, that's a Herculean effort by anybody's standards.
That's big busy.
Carry that on for the rest of the game, and he had 8 touches for the rest of the game, but carry that on. That's That's monster stuff.
That is big busy. Goldie still looking vintage. The man's not aging at all. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on the other side, looking at the Suns, they don't need Rao. They proved that after he went down in the first quarter. It's a benefit to have him, but they don't need him. They've got a system that they had set up. They were making it work for him, and they've uncovered blokes. Oleg Markov, what a jet!
Yeah,
We knew that.
Unbelievable.
We already knew that.
He's
though.
the armchair advisor's hidden gem, I think.
He's my token. He's my totem animal.
We already knew that he was a jet.
We've been saying that since, I think, our very first podcast. I
Yeah.
honestly think that Dan mentioned
Since we found out the results that he was the fastest man in the AFL,
Yes.
we knew that we had to have him.
We've got a live one here.
We're still coming for you, Oleg.
Yeah,
But
I'll
Ma-
see you in one of these long sleeve suckers soon.
Imagine. Look, Markov. Jack Bowes played the best game of his life.
Unreal.
God, if you can back that up, look out, Charlie. I mean, Witt's really relishing that captaincy role, leading from the front
Yep.
in the discussion for best ruckman right at this second
Yep.
in the game. I don't see the Suns losing this one at all. And they lost to West Coast due to some dropped marks and some poor luck. They did everything else right, and that was against West Coast and Perth,
Yep.
which is why I'm saying, Des, what is this?
It's a Burke.
And what sort of clothing item is a Burke?
A sandal.
Yeah, and a sandal is part of the what family?
Shoe.
It's a shoe. This is why the Gold Coast Suns are my shoe-in of round 2. Yes, he's got a lock. I get a shoe.
I like
I
it.
like
Yeah.
that very much.
Yes,
I like
sir.
that very, very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I find it hard to pick against the Suns here. They really showed a lot of good signs, and I thought even after Rao going down, I was sort of like, oh, here we go again. It's going to be another long season. They just kept coming, and really it was only late in the game that West Coast sort of started to get away, as you would expect when with the older, more
And
experienced
in
legs.
Perth as well.
There's going to be some guys that are going to have to step up. Noah Anderson is being one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Hugh Greenwood is going to have to step up in Rao's absence again. Did a fantastic job last year. And Will Brodie, he really struggled early on in the game, but sort of came into it a little bit later. So those are the kind of guys we're going to have to see a lot more out of. But the one guy you missed out on that list from North was Jaden Stevenson. What a performance.
Oh,
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I like that.
Everywhere.
I did like that.
And he looks like one of those kind of guys that even if you tried to tag him, he'd just run you into the ground. There's no point in having someone run with him because he's just gonna poleaxe
it's like
him.
trying to catch smoke.
I like
basically.
that. I like Stevenson. I always did. I especially liked him at the Pies, but it hurts me a little bit in North Melbourne because the team's
They're bad.
tough.
It's
tough.
a chance for him to shine though.
It is, which is nice.
Earn some money.
I've got Gold Coast 1 to 39 here at $2, but I'd be very interested to see what the line is. The sensible one may find that one for me.
20
right
and a
now.
half.
20 and a half.
Not
And
bad.
what's that, about $1.90?
Yep.
Not bad.
Bang on.
Not bad.
I think that's actually a better bet than 1 to 39 because I could see them blowing past 40 plus. If they get the Jets on and they start feeling themselves a little bit, I think they could do it because
That's
West Coast played okay. Like they weren't like shocking. So
Suns had a lot of good signs. A lot of
They
good
did.
signs.
They did. And I like Gold Coast as well. And I think Matty Rao going down last year is a little bit of a blessing for that Gold Coast side. Not for Matty Rao and that whole episode, but the Gold Coast players had to step up last year, and especially without their star player, which has only played 5 games or whatever. But they had to step up, and they're going to have to, obviously, now, but they're used to it.
Yeah.
Something they're used to, and especially against North Melbourne, who are going to be my wooden spooners, especially after the big Crom win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good luck. Good luck beating Gold Coast.
No,
I'll be very surprised.
sorry, North, but it's paddle time, it would seem.
Is a 2% of Alagi going to get a kick?
He needs to get was he listed? Did he play?
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't.
Uh,
I sense
not
it.
this week.
I don't sense it either. I'll get a tingle, and I'll be like, bang, because I never look at the North list before
Not
they
this
play because
week.
I'm not overly bothered
There's
by
Jack Cunnington maybe back. Dumont's going to be back soon as well. Robbie Tarrant's due back soon. I don't think Atu's getting a look in
it.
just yet.
The day he
Can't get
gets
in
a
front
game.
of Bonar, so you're not going to get on the
That's
park.
true. I reckon the day he gets a game is the day I back in the other team to win by 60 to 100 points.
Oh,
I reckon.
hear this now.
I got a sense, and I love a 2% of Lagi, but I just got a feeling that he's
The
a
worst player in the AFL.
he's
I
a
would
lost
agree with
sneak.
you.
I have a feeling he's a lost sneak. I'll just think about when Collingwood played West Coast last time around.
This is harsh. I've got R2. I've got R2.
No,
R2
I love
and
her
R.
too. Atu and I know we're bam.
Not
I
annoying,
haven't
huh?
had a dream. But
I've had a dream.
I haven't had a dream about him. Cam Rayner.
Couple of bets I like
Hit me.
because I'm sick of this Atu chat.
Yeah, hit me.
Noah Anderson, 20 plus, $1.62.
Boom.
Delicious. Luke Davies, Uniacke,
Boom.
$1.57, 20 plus as well. That's
Nice.
Very easy money, I think.
That's
Those
like
two.
almost a lock.
Crunch that. I've only got 2 legs. I just wanted to say, as a human being, I've only got 2 legs.
I knew what was coming, and that's why my facial expression didn't change.
But you haven't laughed since you were 4.
I thought it was funny.
Thank you. No, look, 2 legs. Lockie Weller, 20 plus touches. Josh Walker, anytime goal for North. Smack that together. $2. $2.20. $2.20. Also, Oleg Markov, who had 20 touches on the dot. If you think he's going to get 20 touches against North, $1.91.
It's not bad if you want to risk it for the biscuit. The biscuit being Oleg Markov.
And he did that in the scorching 34-degree heat out on Optus Stadium surface. So under the night lights, he'll eat.
Hey, and if anyone knows about biscuits
that is
as
going
well,
to sound terrible on that microphone.
Apologies.
Horrible.
Hey, if anyone knows about biscuits as well, especially Oleg Markov, it's the Armchair Advisors. So, especially biscuits from the Southern Hemisphere. If you're not sure what we're talking about, watch last week's pod, please.
So
Please.
I don't know where to start with you, Desmond. Sometimes I don't know where to start. All right, it's time we had a look at some of the Sunday games. Time to look at some of the Sunday games. I have a lot written down here. Here we go. All right, let's have a look. First Sunday game at the MCG, Hawthorn Hawks versus the Richmond Tigers.
I'm cutting in.
Hit me.
I'm cutting in.
I was going to.
Richmond are going to win 40 plus. I'm so sorry, Hawthorn. Imagine letting the Bombers get 40 plus points up on you, and at me actually believing that the Bombers are going to hold onto a lead. Imagine what Richmond are going to do, because Richmond,
They'll hurt you.
They're going to hurt this team
After that
really
insightful
badly.
analysis by Desmond.
They're going to hurt them.
It was very insightful.
They're going to hurt them real bad.
But
it's going to be a real bad beat.
It's true, though.
You
It won't
understood
even
where
be
it was
close.
coming from, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Will not even be close.
Yep.
Like, if honestly, and the first quarter, like Essendon probably should have been up by more in the first quarter. Like they played considerably better. Like it was, if you look at the score and look at the game that was being played, you could tell it was a young Essendon side because they were not capitalising at all. It was like 2 goals 5, and it should have been like 8 goals 2. Like they were killing them. Richmond are going to hurt them real bad. I'd have a look at Richmond anytime goal scorers. I haven't looked personally, but I'd have a look at like the value. And anyone in that forward line, if you see someone playing in that forward line that's $1.60, $1.70, that's going to be staying in that forward, I'd be putting them in the same game multi. Like they're going to kick a lot of goals. They're going to kick a lot.
He's bluffed his way through after having done no preparation
They're
at
gonna
all.
kick a lot
He's
of goals.
bluffed his way through this, and it nearly paid off.
However,
Richmond 40 plus
despite
is
that-
240. I'm going to cut in.
Yeah, no.
I have done one research. One
research.
research.
Yeah, I love this bloke.
I've had my Mason cock of the round. No, $2.40 for Richmond to beat Hawthorn. Like, are you kidding me? $2.40.
What is in 1 to 39? 40 plus?
40
What's
plus.
the- okay, yeah,
40
well,
plus.
I thought you were saying outright head to head. I
I
was
was
like,
like, get a second mortgage,
I'll-
put it on.
Everything I've got.
Yoink.
The line's set at 29.5 at the moment. I reckon that's easy money as
That's
well.
easy
Like
as-
$1.90.
easy as gets.
Look, you have to give credit where credit's due. Hawthorn fighting back into that game is gutsy.
Hell yeah.
Even against a team like the Bombers, it don't matter who you're playing. That's a seriously good comeback. I just couldn't believe Tom Mitchell walks back in off no preseason.
Yeah.
39 touches. Thanks for coming.
And how many of those were handballs?
I like that.
That doesn't matter though, because that means he's on the bottom of the pack with a bad shoulder, mate.
I didn't expect it. You called it, or one of you called
It
it,
would be me.
He called
and I didn't expect it. I did not expect it.
Outrageous though. 39 touches off no preseason. And not only that, he was really the catalyst for sort of getting the
He
team
did
back
lead him
into
from
it
the
again.
front.
They're going to
So,
need that every week.
Unbelievable performance. And also, just quickly, Dustin Martin. Another level last Thursday night. Usually, and a lot of people have brought this up, start the season slowly. Not this year.
No.
Not this year at all.
Hungry.
Hungry
and angry.
He looks
Hungry.
He looks good.
Looks hungry.
He does.
Hungry.
What have we replaced Bruce McAvaney for riding Dusty's balls or something? That's what
Me?
No, all of us.
Oh,
I love
Well,
it.
look,
No.
It's hard not to.
I'm the
Credit
biggest.
where-
Oh mate, I'm the biggest Dusty bloody cock rider there is. This whole cup is dedicated to me and Dusty.
It's just filled with pure liquid Dustin Martin.
Liquid love.
Just I'm quit. I'm going. I'm done. Now, look, for the Hawks, that middle class of theirs is emerging. Dylan Moore was very, very handy, and he's going to be very important here again. Mate, Chankoth Jath off the half back. This might be Oleg might have a contender for the fastest man in the AFL because when he lights the Jets up, it's just
I blinked and I've didn't know where it was.
Gone in 60 seconds. Call him Nicolas Cage.
Levitating on the grass.
He just went.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
Sight to behold.
And if he keeps building that tank, you watch. He would be the most important bloke in that team, just generating all the runoff of halfback.
Well, him, Will Day, and Sicily, when they've got all those three back together, that's a seriously talented halfback line.
Will Day, future captain for mine.
Has to be.
Future captain for mine. A Jet at 19, and he's professional as hell. In terms of the Tigers, look, Tigers are the Tigers, known quantity. Just question, is Jack Graham the best Tigers midfielder not named Dustin Martin?
Yes.
Had 33 on the weekend. No one talked about that, did they? And a goal from memory.
Underrated.
Just not consistent enough.
Well, that's... Jack, get up. Get up.
I like
Jackie
Jackie Graham.
Graham.
I like Jack Graham a lot.
Good SA boy.
Same here. It does feature in my multi. Again, look, I threw a few things together this week for this one. I like Chankoth Jaff to have 20 plus off the halfback. He had about 19 or 20 on the weekend. I'm backing him in. It's a bit speculative, but I'm backing him in.
They'll be under siege, mate.
Bolton, our man, your man.
I love Shy.
Our man. Bolton for the Tigers, 20 plus touches, easy done. Jack Graham, 25 touches. Dylan Moore, 1 goal. He had about 3 on the weekend. Tyler Brockman, as Bristol will no doubt call him at some point. Kent. Yeah, there we go. Can't believe no one's done that yet. Kent Brockman to have 1 goal. And your man, Jakey Arts, for a goal as well. Smack them all together, and it's paying $9. $9.
Plus 3.
No, just 9.
We had the plus 3. Wasn't it? I don't know.
You're the biggest moron I've ever met.
You said Jakey Arts and I got excited.
Jesus Christ.
No mention of Mabby or Charles. What's he doing these days?
Just hanging out in the VFL, mate.
It hurts
Chilling.
me. It hurts
the second Sunday game. The only thing I can do is just put distance on this and move forward quickly.
Can we please give a second round pick for Mabby or Charles? Adelaide. Can you imagine Mabby or Charles playing for Adelaide?
I'm going to harm you in a minute.
Would he not?
I'm going to hurt you.
Very well.
I'm going to really, really hurt you. I tell you. Stop drinking wine, and this will help. You're off the ball. Second Sunday game, Marvel Stadium, Western Bulldogs versus the West Coast Eagles. Fellas, sensible Dan? What do you like here, mate?
I'm going to make this quick because we're running long here.
Oh, we're flat.
Look, this is a mouth-watering contest for mine. Mm-hmm. Both teams coming in with a win, so good on them. Dogs looked elite in every sense of the word against Collingwood. Like I said, they probably could have won by more. Eagles did enough to beat the Suns. Wasn't super impressive, but I mean, look, you beat who's put in front of you. Jackson McRae, what a performance last week. Mate. The AFL's forgotten man.
He is.
Always forgotten, but not by the advisors, Jackson. We got you, buddy. Eagles actually played some real bruise-free footy last week. Lowest tackle count in across all games for the week.
Very interesting.
They only had 34, I think it was, 34 tackles for the week. So that's not going to last for long. If you're playing that kind of footy, at some point in time, you're going to meet your maker.
That is not... I did not know that.
Willem Drew had 11 tackles. Mm-hmm. The West Coast Eagles had 34.
So that kind of stuff is not going to fly week to week. And I think that this week will be one of those weeks. I think the Dogs are going to kill them.
Mate, I'm with you on this. The Eagles midfield looked sputtering. Andrew Gaff, I'm not sure. I saw a picture of Andrew Gaff.
Epitome of bruise free.
I saw a picture of Andrew Gaff. I saw a picture of Prince Philip, and I couldn't tell them apart. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell them apart because they were both doing the same amount of activity.
Dead.
It was. Gaff now this week needs to become Prince Harry and just start giving it back to the establishment.
But he won't.
Get stuck in.
But he won't.
No, he won't. Well, what's wrong, Andrew?
He doesn't have the ticker, mate. He's not hard nosed enough.
Not hard nosed.
You're gonna be looking at guys like Dom Shee to turn it around for him.
The bald man gets it done. Yeah, they were lucky to grind out that win. I'm right with you on this. The Dogs are going to just be faster at home. They're going to work harder.
Yep.
That midfield is elite, and they still don't have the right mix worked out. Just watch them go. It's going to be one in the midfield here. Mind you, Eagles forward line, let me just say, and I don't want to be an Eagles cuck, but that rotation mix that they've got between Vardy and Allen and Darling and Kennedy all just like cycling through, that's pretty damn hard to defend against. Mm-hmm. But if your midfield is just a pack of slobs and biscuits who can't be bothered getting it in there, you're not going to get anything done. And that's why I'm going the Bulldogs, 1-39.
Just a quick one for my best bet of the week. Adam Treloar played a lot of forward pocket in the week just gone and around the half forward flank. Couldn't really crack into the midfield as I sort of thought he might. But he's currently paying $2.10 for a goal this week. If you spend enough time in the forward line, you're going to jag one eventually. And $2.10 is good odds for mine.
No, I like that. I like Western Bulldogs at 2.25 to win 1-39. they real coasted against Collingwood, and they look good doing it. Like they were never in trouble, always composed. Like it was nice to watch it, and I'm glad they did because obviously last year in 2020 they didn't, and it broke all of our hearts, and actually broke our hearts. But no, I see him running wild, as a Holcomb would say, running wild all over you. You being West Coast.
I've taken a leaf out of your book this week when combining a little multi together. It is the Triple D MVB multi. It's coming right at you.
I love Triple D.
It's Triple D MVB. I love it. It's Duggan 20 plus, Caleb Daniel 25 plus, Josh Dunkley 25 plus, McRae 30 plus touches, Latham Vandermeer, Lethal Latham.
Oh.
See, it's got layers. This. It's got layers. This.
It's Desbet.
It is
It's a narrative. It's a narrative, but just my narrative.
It's yeah.
Latham Vandermeer 1 goal. The Bont 1 goal. Smack that together, paying about $8.50 somewhere in there.
It's not bad.
I like it.
I think the Western Bulldogs are going to be a good team to kind of multi up this year because they've got so much talent,
And
it kind of sounds like it's.
And they just play possession footy.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
they,
it.
They love holding the footy, so that's why they all end up with 30 touches every single week.
And that's what I was going to say. It might sound a bit cliche saying, "Oh, they're going to be a good multi-team," but they really are. They're all going to play well. They're all going to play well, and I'm glad that they kind of played it as a team. So I didn't know how the kind of chem would work, and after one game, they're looking good. Like imagine by the time round 15 they start to figure things out. They start playing teams like West Coast who have a bit of clout, but I don't think they're that great this year. Sorry, Jace, but like they're gonna get real confident. They're gonna find out what works, and I think a lot of things are gonna work. So Doggies fans get excited.
Watch out. And last game of the round, let's jump into it here at Optus Stadium in Perth. It's the Freo Dockers versus the GWS Giants, playing for the Cam McCarthy, Darty McCrafty commemorative Memorial Birkenstocks, which is lovely for them.
Or the No Flag Cup, as they call it.
Smack. Look, let's summarise this one. Freo were gallant on the road. Injuries just pile up. There's only so much you can do against just injury after injury after injury to really key position players. Their forward line at the minute is composed of Taberner, and then after that it's Switkowski, it's Henry, it's Schultz. You know, these are not top flight names. They're going to struggle to kick scores. Yep. Midfield is going to work its guts out. They're going to put in double duty, that young midfield, and good on them because they are the leading lights of that team. But as we said just beforehand, you know, if you can't get the ball into the forward line, you're just not going to be. If you can't score, you can't win.
Yep.
Can't score, you can't win.
Yep.
And that's why, even though the Giants weren't fantastic and they looked like that window is shutting, they're in a boat and the boat's sinking and they're just plugging holes as they're going on the run.
Get the buckets going.
Literally, even though they're doing that right now, I don't see the Giants dropping this one. I'm going the Giants 1-39. Flynn was good.
He was very good.
I'm wondering, do the Giants run 2 rucks and switch in between the forward line when Braden Preuss, for our German friends out there, comes back in? Thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, you'd think probably so. But Lockie Keefe looked all right in a bit of a backup role. They might just decide to roll with one. For me, this is actually what I would refer to as an early season toilet bowl. Not because of anything that's happened with Freo. These injuries, it's out of control. It is absolutely out of control, and you can only do with what you've got in terms of the cattle, and they just don't have any. The Giants, the culture is just ruined. I reckon.
Shot.
I've been watching Making Their Mark on Amazon.
Yeah, nice.
Not a knock against the bloke at all. Stephen Cornelio is one of the least inspiring people I have ever come across.
What's that based on? You can't just say that. What's that based on?
The whole show is basically based around following captains of AFL clubs or prominent figures within AFL clubs. They follow Stephen Cornelio around. They show his pre-game speeches, all this sort. I wouldn't run through a matchbox for him, let alone a fucking front door. Pardon my French there, microphone.
Jeepers, this is the swearing cast.
All I'm saying is, to me anyway, great player. It seems like a great bloke. Not captain material.
And like Gary Ablett at the Suns.
It's hard to make that assumption based on what you see on television, but that combined with Leon Cameron's poor coaching, and that one I do genuinely mean, Leon, you suck, brother.
He's getting angry in his old age now, too.
He is. Giants are not going to do anything until Leon Cameron's gone. And that's just my honest opinion, but I am tipping him in this game, purely because Freo have got
there's no one left.
7 billion injuries. So
the room is empty.
It's the Eastern Park Footy Club.
I'm just still on the Cogs I'm thinking about the
giant
Tonks
whack,
comments.
yeah.
You know, though, you think about
It's
it.
not a giant whack. I'm telling you.
I don't know if it is because you think of the grand final. Think of the grand final.
Some guys are
They
just
gave
not
up.
captaincy material, mate. They just aren't.
I maintain Gary Ablett wasn't captaincy material at the Suns.
Again, it's like it's not a knock on the bloke. Some people are just not built to be captains. I wouldn't be a good captain of a footy club. I'm weak as piss.
Yeah,
Limpy.
you think? And I can add to that. I don't think I'd be there. I think I'd be more of a Mason Cock of the football team. I'd be like in a 2% of large.
Just genuinely how I feel.
No,
but then again,
absolutely.
you look at that Giants list. Who looks like a leader?
They all left. Jacko left.
Oh, jeepers. Well, the Giants have got it all before them there. See how that one plays out. Be very, very interesting. Thank you for joining us as we have summarised who we think's getting up here in round 2. Now, before we leave, we did say last week that our man Safety Steve, he gave us $500 at the start of last year to put onto one bet and then roll it forward every single year. We had a sponsor for that bet back then. We do not have that sponsor anymore, although we've got Safety Steve. He's still sending in bets. He sent us in $500 last week, and he said, put it all on Tim Taranto to get 20 plus touches. And paid off. That 500 became 610. Nicely done. Now, this week, I can announce that we do have a new sponsor on board. I'm still waiting to get some official product. I've been sent some tasters, some sample packs, which I've got here this week. And so this week, I'm pleased to announce that Safety Steve's Safety Bet will, in future, be sponsored by Professor Morgan's Follicle Rejuvenation and Inch Issuing Vitamins, which is these here, for the man who nearly has it all. I can tell you that much. So it's great. It's great to have Professor Morgan on board. We thank you for your sponsorship. And this week's Safety Steve Safety Bet, he said, I'm going again. It's Tim Taranto, 20 touches again at $1.14. So that's $610 on Timmy T at $1.14.
The man has a winning formula and knows how to make money.
Absolutely.
I should pay that $700. So if he's $200 in the black after 2 weeks, we take that.
Look, if you find something that works, you don't need to fix it.
No way.
So keep on keeping on.
Roll on. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week for round 3. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Stay gold, pony boy.